Welcome to The Authentic Me. The power of storytelling is what I believe. Every story is unique. Every story may hold the answers you seek. With special guests fortnightly so you can learn, apply their wisdom for your own life's turn. I am your host. My name is Mel Yu. Together, we might discover a new worldview. All right, guys, welcome back to episode 15 of the Authentic Me podcast, where my mission is to shine light on authentic and personal stories that will give you valuable golden nuggets for you to take away and apply into your own life. This week's special guest is a little blonde and happy pocket rocket in the mindfulness and well-being space. Co-founder of the top-rated wellness app, Bloom, Molly Jane's purpose is to help people bloom into the best versions of themselves. Bloom provides many proven strategies for reducing stress, anxiety, depression, and anger. The ability to settle an overwhelmed and overactive mind, to find inner peace within at any given time. Through her own story and journey with mental health, Molly has built an empowering community through her social media platforms. She has worked as a social media mentor and consultant with Australian giant icons such as Bondi Sands and with fellow Aussie influencers like Steph Claire Smith, Chloe Zepp, and Mitch Orville, all on their personal brands. Molly is determined to mentor others on how to build a positive brand and use your social media platform with a greater purpose. Molly helps others train their mind to see the good in everyone and everything, relax, sleep better, and discover calm and clarity within. She is full of wisdom, has a heart that just keeps on loving, and a bubbly smile that is so contagious. So please welcome social media influencer, app founder, wellness guru, but most importantly, a boss woman I am privileged enough to call a friend, Molly Jane. Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh. What an intro. Like, I was really like, I am going to steal that if that's okay. And, give it to the girls at Bloom if I ever have to put what I do in a bio. That was so well written, Mel.
100% girl. I didn't actually even ask you for questions on what your bio was. I was kind of like, I know her well enough. I'm just going to whip this up.
That was so nice. Thank you. I asked the universe for a genuine compliment off someone today and I just got it. So thank you.
Pleasure. I'm so excited for this chat. This chat's been a long time coming. For those that are listening now and don't actually know you, first of all, how are you during this pandemic? How's everything going? What's shifted in your life?
Okay. So I think I'm going good. I am in a different position to majority of other people right now. So I am forever grateful and I do have gratitude for this every single day. After the first lockdown in Victoria, I had this feeling that I needed to get out of Melbourne. So I did. And I escaped to Queensland and it turns out I did make the correct decision. Being in Queensland is good for me because my business partner is up here. I've got some best friends up here as well. And it just seemed to go that way. So considering I have made the move to Queensland, things are obviously a lot lighter up here. The energy is lighter.
100%.
But it's giving me the stillness is giving me a space to continue to work on myself so then I can share what I have learnt with people who may need it the most.
Yeah, amazing. And I think opening up with that is so important. Opening up with gratitude, going, hey, I realize that I may not be where a lot of other people are right now, but you are doing well. And that's where I've kind of come in as well, kind of being like, I'm good. I'm very aware there's a lot of suffering and pain going on and uncertainty. But if we can control our inner world, and I know you talk about this a lot, if you can control your internal world, you can come from a place of peace and calm, even in a crisis or a pandemic.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up because I could talk about this topic all day long. That's what I think, and I hope and I pray that most people are going to get out of this because things will never be like this again. And things have never been like this before in our lifetime. So I hope that we can find the positives, even though there are a lot of negatives. I hope the positives are that you have sat with yourself, you have looked at every area of your life, looked at what's not working and shifted it, or put foundations in place to shift it when things go back to whatever normal is.
A new normal, yeah.
The new whatever,
Yeah.
I hate even saying. But, you know, I feel like a lot of people have done a lot of personal work, inner work on themselves during this time. And even though they might still be sitting in this, oh my God, and think that they haven't come far, I feel like once we get out of this and something else happens in life, people are going to see how far they have actually come in the mental development and the inner work they've done on themselves when another opportunity to show up reveals itself, when it's not the pandemic. So I think, and I hope and I pray that this has, in a way, helped us get back to ourselves, because that is what the most important thing of all is.
Yeah. And I love that, because what I've been saying is the worst thing to come out of this pandemic is to have learned nothing at all. Like, that would be the worst possible outcome. If you come out of this 6 months, 10 months out, like, and you didn't have that opportunity to reflect, when are we going to have this downtime ever again, really, without that forced change of pace, especially for people like you and me that are just so go, 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 events here, social communities there, this, that. And then now, because all of that's kind of been stripped away, you don't have those distractions. It's the perfect time for personal development and inner work.
100%. And I don't want, like, a lot of people, when they hear the words, oh, I haven't learned anything during this time, a lot of people automatically think, oh, like a skill, or I haven't read a book, or I haven't done that. But don't be too hard on yourself, because I feel that people would be learning things that they don't even realize they're learning. And that's like what I said before, it's not until we get out of the pandemic, we're living life normal again, and then you can actually, like, something happens in life, but all of a sudden you've got the tools and the resilience to handle it differently. So I feel like people who feel like they haven't learned anything, it's going to reveal itself over the next, 12 months or so as life continues to happen.
Yes. And that resilience and that mindset, like whenever, like what you just said, whenever the next crisis happens, maybe not in a global sense, in your own inner world, you'll realize your bounce back rate, or you'll realize your mindset. What tools can you learn during this time to manage stress and anxiety and depression and all of that good stuff that come with life. So I wanted to go back to your childhood. I wanted to have a little conversation about what was young Molly like. Where did you grow up? I know you grew up in like a country town, so which is quite surprising, I think, if people saw your social media profile. I don't know if they would necessarily align it with a small town like Ballarat. So can you give me some context? Some context of what young Molly was like.
People actually talk to me and then they're like, oh yeah, she's a little bit rough around the edges.
True.
But so I grew up in a small town called Ballarat, and as a kid I was so bubbly and just full of life, and I always said that I wanted to be famous. Always.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I've realized that I just didn't have another word to describe what it was that I wanted to be. So I didn't want to be famous, and I actually don't want to be famous now. However, I wanted to have a big enough platform where I could make an impact on people. And my 5-year-old self didn't have the vocabulary or the word to describe that. So I said, I want to be famous, because I knew I wanted to have an impact. So that's what I always would say. Like, it would go between, I'm going to be an actress, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And just, ridiculous, but lots of fun. I did ballet for 20 years. I have all my friendships from Ballarat. The positives to come out of Ballarat are the foundations and the people that I have there, because, you can have people always, they come and go from your life, but you've just got a couple of those solid ones that you would be able to call in the middle of the night, even though your lives are on two completely different paths now. There's like this knowing, and they know your history. And so that is what I think of when I think now. And then, 20 years later, that's all the positive stuff. When I was at high school, I also developed an eating disorder.
Okay.
So, you know, I feel like I did go through a lot in my high school years. I was bullied, and I was only bullied by people who didn't know how to handle my unique mindset. I was very out there. I never wanted to conform. Like my Deb dress.
We're going to have to get a photo of that.
Oh my God, my Deb dress didn't even touch the ground. Like I think I had a mohawk, like big earrings. Like I just was always trying to make a statement because I never wanted to conform. Like I never wanted to, you know, and I think that that rattled a lot of people because I was just so out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's kind of like a bit of a wrap up of my childhood.
And then I mean like how you've just explained your childhood though, it's interesting because if anything, you've just expanded or like you've just become more of that in your adult life now. And you can really see how that foundation of like those values or your mindset as a little girl has now just kind of, now you found the vocabulary, or now you've got the self-awareness to back it, the conscious thinking behind it. That's really incredible.
I would like to add that it kind of went backwards. So it's only really started to be the last 6 months that I feel like I'm back to me again.
Yeah.
So there's always been aspects of me and, you know, values and things that I believed that I have carried throughout my life. But I feel like I kind of went under the radar a little bit for a while there. And I wasn't stepping into that fun, bubbly girl that wanted to be big and blah, blah, blah. Because I kind of went inwards because I didn't want to rock the boat. And life happens as well, and other circumstances happen, and you put other people ahead of yourself, because I was a people pleaser as well. And it hasn't been until the last 6 months that there's like a couple of things that I've done recently. I've been like, wow, like that reminds me of me when I was a kid. And instead of being like dismissive about it, I'm honoring it and I'm loving that part of me.
Perfect. That's so, because how old are you now? Sorry.
33.
So we're just coming to our early 30s, you and me both. And that is actually something that I've really noticed, that when we go into adulthood, somewhere along the way, you lose parts of that initial childhood-like mannerisms. Yeah. You forget to play because somehow then slowly society puts their expectations on you. Like what you said, you become a people pleaser, or you try to go back to that fitting in, and you do lose a part of yourself. And then over time, I think, for me anyway, definitely entering my 30s has been this new Mel. And we were talking about this offline just before. It's this flow state that you've kind of gone, okay, like I'm good. I'm actually owning me. And when you own you, it's an incredible superpower and a feeling that no one else can describe when you're you, yeah?
And it's funny, I don't know, is it a 30, like once you get into your kind of sick of, but I'm so glad you brought this topic up, because it's really hard. It is so hard to not care what people think. And, you know, I put everybody else's opinions before my own for such a long time. And I've had to, you know, really rewire that, really try hard to rewire that. But, you know, I was sitting on the balcony probably like 2 months ago, and I was just like, I just don't care anymore. Like, people are always, like, I know my heart is always in the right spot. I am never trying to be mean or hurt anybody. And that's all you can ask for. So if I do something where somebody's going to say a little comment here and there, and they always will. You cannot, like, please everybody. But
everyone has an opinion.
Everybody has an opinion. We need to have opinions. It's a human thing to do. But the key is finding that place within yourself where you just love yourself so much that it doesn't matter. You know that their opinion or what they say isn't going to affect where you're at. Like we are allowed to live however we want and be whoever we want and say whoever we want, as long as we're not hurting people. And I just hope that people can find the courage to do that, because when you do, you're free.
Yeah, 100%. So when then is there a specific moment, or are you still on that journey where you realized that you wanted to actively advocate in this space? So you've got this women empowerment topics, you've got wellness, all of that sort of stuff. Was there an exact moment that you're like, this is what I want, I suppose, my brand to be? And we'll talk about branding in a bit, but was there a moment, or do you think it's just evolved?
It's my livelihood. It's who I am. Not once did I think that this could be my job or my life. And this is just what I did. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I just have always been into, this sort of thing, and yoga and meditating and, Abraham Hicks and things on YouTube for so long. And then I think the catalyst to me delving into this even more was my marriage breakdown, because I had been with this guy for 14 years, and that was my identity. It's
half your life.
It was half my life.
Literally.
I was a kid when I got with him. I was 17. And so when that, literally half of my identity was stripped from me. And I was left there kind of like this, well, who am I now? I had no choice but to delve in to my patterns, the way I've been wired, and just really look at every aspect of myself with a magnifying glass and be honest with myself of, was this serving me or was this not? So, and this is a constant journey. On the weekend, I found something else and I was like, oh, we're still being triggered about this. Great. But now I've got the tools to be like, okay, so let's journal and let's feel it. And I allow myself to feel it and cry and have a 20-minute breakdown. And then I literally just wipe away the tears. I'm like, all right, we're good.
I love it. And I love that. And I think it's really important to highlight that over time, you do kind of go, oh, there's a triggering moment. I don't know if I fully healed from that. But you have that self-awareness or that conversation and open dialogue that it doesn't sound like you have any judgment towards yourself. You just accept yourself for all of who you are. Something that I embody as well, making that mess. And thank you so much for sharing about it. It would not be easy divorcing your partner.
I smile but it was literally the worst divorce. Whoever's been through a divorce out there, I was watching Selling Sunset the other day, and the divorce one came on, and I was like, oh, and I felt like my heart, it was burning, and I was like, whoa, I thought I was cool, but divorce, I am just, even if you are the one that has made the decision to go through a divorce, it's still the worst. And people, I don't think really get it. People have friends, or everyone knows someone who goes through a divorce, but when I hear that someone is about to go through a divorce or is going through it, or even on the other end of it like I am, oh, my heart just sinks for them, because it's something that there needs to be more support around. There really does. It's traumatic. It really is. So I hope, maybe I've got a million things going on, but maybe one day I can start to educate people in this area a little bit more 100%. And help people in the divorce world.
And I think because when we talk about relationships ending, whether it's a breakup, a marriage, or in some cases death, when relationships end, there is a level of grief and loss that I think people don't understand until you really go through it. So the more that we can educate people about the different types of grief and loss, because grief and loss shows up in so many ways. It might not be just tears and outbursts of crying. There's so many steps to, like what you said, losing that identity, figuring out who you are as a standalone without that partner. There's so many layers to it that 100%, I think we have so much work to do, where we can use your stories and lived experience to then share with other people that are going through it as well.
100%. And how many times you would find people DM you and they're like, I'm going through a breakup, or I need this. Like, it's such a big thing that rips people to their core. However, it's also a catalyst to look at yourself and look at where you may not be showing up for yourself. So, like, one big thing that I learned, which I feel like could help so many people, is because, so say before I said when I was a kid, I was more out there, I was loud, this is who I am, and blah, blah, blah. And then when I went into wife mode, he never told me to go into wife mode. I just did it. I went into wife mode and I was like, whatever you want, I'll do it. I'll put my life back here. And, I'm going to help you be everything that you're meant to be. And I did that, and I was happy doing that. I really want to put that out there. But one layer of me, I wasn't being honest with myself. Like, the world knew that little kid, the universe knew that little kid had this so much to give, and I was only giving a tiny, tiny piece of it to one person.
Yeah.
So I wasn't being honest with myself. It was dishonesty. Even though I thought I loved honesty and all of that, I was being dishonest. And then the way the relationship kind of ended, like, it was based on dishonesty, but it was a mirror. I got dishonesty blown in my face when really I wasn't being dishonest with myself. So I have the balls to sit and look at that and be like, okay, well, where wasn't I being honest with myself? And now how can I show up and be honest with myself every single day, even if it means disappointing other people?
Yes. And that is so freaking powerful, because it starts and ends with you, right? It truly, truly does. And when you aren't serving yourself in an honest way, the people around you, it's almost like that law of attraction. You have to take accountability. Like, if you're always saying, oh, everyone around me is so miserable, it's like, wait a minute, put the mirror up. What is it about you that isn't serving you as well? Because you're attracting these people. You are the energy that you keep. So it starts and it ends with you.
That's right. And there's so many layers to that again. And it's a real hard topic to delve into, because a lot of people would be like, oh, well, no.
Yeah.
Like,
it's their fault.
Like, it's their fault, which it is. Everyone plays a part. However, it is an opportunity to look at yourself and see what aspects of yourself you can be better at. Not discounting the experience at all, and not saying the other person isn't in the wrong. It's just an opportunity for you to be better.
So there are people, I have no doubt, that are listening to this, that are on their way to finding their purpose, perhaps, or they're searching for that mission or purpose. For someone that has found theirs, what does purpose actually mean to you? And what tips can you give to people that might not exactly know what their purpose is?
I love this topic too. I love all topics, so this is great. Because I feel like I've worked this out. I never chased, like I did for a while. Like, I had many, many jobs, and I was like, I'll try this, I'll try that, like, I'll do this, like, that'll be my purpose. And I always focused on what the job was that I was doing. But when I was forced, when my life fell apart and my entity got stripped from me, I had to go back into basics and be like, what just simple things make me happy each day? And like, stripping it right back. Because like, I got so depressed at one point, like I couldn't even brush my teeth. Like, I would have to write little notes to myself to be like, all right, it's time to get up, or it's time to brush your teeth. Like, just bit by bit, hour by hour, I used to go. And so when that was stripped back so much, I wasn't focusing on, what's my purpose? What's my job going to be? I was just focusing on, okay, actually, do you know what? Looking up astrology online makes me happy. I'm going to do that for an hour. Oh, do you know what? Listening to this spiritual book online about this or this, that makes me happy. I'm going to do that. So I was just filling my world with things that made me happy, regardless of what the actual job was. And then when I aligned with that, that is when opportunities came my way that aligned with my purpose. So my advice, find your bliss. and find the things that light you up, embody and experience every day what you want to, how you want to live, and then it just comes. It just comes. Don't focus on the end goal, focus on embodying each moment.
I'm actually I'm such an empath, so I'm actually getting goosebumps because I know you truly believe it, and the words that you say really, really resonate. Yeah. You don't need to have a hard and fast, don't make purpose like a goal, putting so much pressure on, because it's such a buzzword these days. Everyone's like, I need to find my purpose. And it's actually, you need to live and you need to taste life and finding your bliss, or what motivates you, what pushes you, what drives you. And just go and taste everything, because there are things that you might not like that will then at least you can go, okay, cool, not for me. What's this? Lean into those things, research, explore, just go out and taste stuff.
Yeah. And also the whole, the way the world's going right now, we're stripping away all these structures and all these things that have been in place for the last couple of 100 years. Like, you have to have a 9 to 5, or you have to, go to an office to work. Like, all of a sudden, no one's working in an office.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to work 9 to 5. I work hard for 1 or 2 hours a day and punch out everything and get so much done. And then I go and live my life, because I believe in balance, because if I'm not balanced, then everything else isn't balanced. But how you think success looks, it isn't going to be looking like that in 5 years' time, the way the world's going. The universe is doing all of this to break everything down so we can build a new structure the way the earth truly intended for it to be here. So, even my little sister before, she was like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm like, you don't need to aspire to be having a full-time job anymore. Be a yoga teacher and do a class here, a class there, or nanny for a little bit. Just be, instead of trying to get to that goal that may not even serve the universe anymore.
Yeah, or yourself, people working, I think more than ever now, people are working, especially during this time, working a 9 to 5. And because things have shifted so much, they're realizing, I actually hate this. And, it's exploring things that you then go and like. You can now quit your job, because it's almost like the world has kind of given us a blank canvas to restart, reset, recharge, realign. 2020 is about finding out what you appreciate and what fulfills you, and actually leaning into that, because there's no security anyway. What you thought was secure in your corporate 9 to 5 is not anymore. People have been stood down left, right, and center.
100%. And I would like to add, from someone who, there was a point there, when I left my marriage, I had minus $20 in the bank. I had nothing. I literally packed an overnight bag, left the house, that was it. And I was there's been so many times I've had no money, even prior to that. And now I can say the way, because I live my purpose, everything's aligned, and I have a comfortable amount of money coming in now. However, I just want to add that that's not the be all or end all either. It's truly not. What honestly makes me happy in my soul is when I feel content and free in who I am. When I feel free in who I am, that's success to me. I'm not worrying about people. I've just got this ease about me. No worries. That is what I aspire to have every single day. Not more money. The feeling of just no worries. That's what I aspire to have.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important to define what success looks like for each and every one of us, because I think monetary value, anyone that's had money will know that that's actually not the thing that will give you happiness. It doesn't. It might be a means to provide you to freedom or to save time or anything like that, but it's definitely not the actual tangible thing of money. Let's go there. Let's go to women in business or women in careers, and tell me a little bit about, so what was your experience like working with Bondi Sands and working with a bunch of influencers? Because that's how you've kind of created this ability and extensive knowledge about creating brands, personal and business.
Yep. Yep. So I loved my time at Bondi Sands. They were such legends. I got in with the two owners when it was just beginning. So it was a really exciting time to be there. It was, you know, you were across everything. You got to chat with them about everything. And I got to be in the early stages of watching the brand grow and develop. And then from that, I got to hear these conversations that they, like, I got to see everything that happened that got them to where they are. So valuable, so priceless. And, you know, I didn't even realize I was learning until now, when I have to put stuff into place and I'm like, oh, well, we'll do this, 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 and this. And then I'm like, who even am I? But so that was so cool. And, you know, that just kind of kept evolving. And, you know, I started their social media from nothing. So I was lucky enough, we got to, you know, develop and see what worked, follow the trends. And we had a proven strategy that worked with Bondi Sands. And we knew what the little secrets were. And that has just helped me so much. And I really believe it's like, we kept it personable and a community vibe. And I believe that is what contributed to the online success. Yeah, for sure. So that was really, really cool. I got to do really cool things with that. And then that's when the influencers came into it, because we would go to lots of different, you know, events and all of that, which, you know, wasn't really my thing. However, I made a lot of really cool connections. And, you know, from there, if I hadn't have met Chloe at one of the things, Chloe is the co-founder of Bloom. When I had, like, one day, I just was like, I have to quit Bondi Sands. I had no money. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was just like, I have to quit. I can hear my intuition. My intuition was like,
I'm done. I'm done here.
Yeah, and I listen to it now. Like, I'm so bang on with my intuition. If it says something, and even if it doesn't make sense, I'll go do it. Like, for example, move to the Gold Coast. And then, so yeah, I just quit. And sure enough, then Chloe and I connected. I started managing her for a bit, helping her with her personal brand. And then, yeah, she's like, all this, like, information you're giving me, she's like, we need to, like, somehow combine what we both know and put it in an app. And sure enough, Bloom was born. And now we're on an epic journey, and we've got so many more exciting things coming up. And that's
cool. Freaking awesome, because that 100%, that was my next question of where I was going with it. Like, how did the idea of Bloom actually come about? Or was it just between you and Chloe, like, we need to put all of this, because, like, you might need to put it all, but you can put it all in a blog or like a website or a YouTube channel. So why an app? Where did that idea actually come from?
So we were just aligned. We always say we're just the vessel, and we get, like, a message and we have to relay it. So because I literally live and breathe this shit, I was giving Chloe lots of, like, tips on stuff in her life, and she brought in another aspect to it. And then we just had all this information, and she was always like, Molly, like we have to get this out there. So we were going to do an ebook, but then Mitch became friends with an app guy, Jerry.
Yeah.
And we were like, let's do an app. So we did an app. They supported us, and then every, like, creative meeting we'd have, things just kind of flowed. Like, the inspiration and the ideas just came to us. We didn't ever really sit and think it's got to be like this. We just will always get into that flow state, and the ideas and
things just come. Exactly. When you're in that creative process and you're willing to have an open mind, it's like, oh, we know someone that has an app. Let's go there. Let's have this creative meeting. And I've watched it, you know, I've watched from the launch of Bloom and how you guys have pivoted and expanded that community, because then you're doing Bloom Talks, you're doing Bloom World. You're adding so many layers of offerings to this one core purpose. And I think that's where you truly shine. And that probably is a similar journey to watching the growth of Bondi Sands, where you've been able to keep it approachable and relatable, and you're giving people what they need.
Yeah, thank you. That really means a lot that you say that. And this is what we say. we stand for something, and we stand for making people be the best versions of themselves that they can be. Like, I know that because I'm doing all of this work on myself, I can be a mirror to other people, that when they see me or talk to me, it will ignite a flame, or it will remind them about something within themselves, and then they can go off and be better as well. So at the moment, it just happens to be in an app, but this will evolve and grow over time, and the core message will always stay the same. The medium might change over time, but the core message is what we stand for, and that will never, you can't fake that.
Correct.
Like, I just genuinely want people to be their best selves. Like, because when you are, like, the world, the vibration of the world lifts, and the consciousness of the world lifts, and then it's just awesome.
It is, and that's how we've connected. And it's just this, it's this huge vibrational frequency where, as you sort of like get to new layers of consciousness and awareness and spiritual awakening, you meet people that are on that level with you, you know, and that's why.
Yep. The tribe comes.
Yeah, that's it. Like, your vibe attracts your tribe.
It seriously does. And I have some friends who are going through a bit of a spiritual awakening now, and they feel very alone at times because their people around them are not on the same journey. And I'm like, don't worry, just keep going, keep like, I got this message the other day in meditation. It was, be with conviction. So be who you are with conviction. Like, just be who you are, no matter what, no matter who feels uncomfortable, because that is when you will start attracting the right things and the right people in your corner.
100%. I resonate with that so much. And also not being afraid to step outside that comfort zone, because that's where real growth actually happens. So if you're finding yourself feeling like you are going through a spiritual awakening and it's incredibly uncomfortable because no one around you is on that path, you're on that path. Like, keep going. Exactly.
Keep going. And there's people like Mel and I who, we might be like crazy and love all the universe and stuff, but we're kind of cool still.
Yeah, exactly. We're cool to be friends with. I love that so much. Just to flip it over a little bit, what do you see then? Because your app is focused around helping people or relieving some sort of distress around anxiety, depression. There's a lot of mental health stuff that is going on, and your mindfulness technique is what brings them back to sort of that grounded state. What is the most problematic or biggest challenge that you see young women coming to you for? What's the biggest thing that I guess the world is struggling with? Honestly, is there something that you can,
Well, at the moment, what I'm seeing a lot of is just like anxiety and just feeling flat, and not really knowing why. And obviously there's a lot of layers to this, but like, I just want to mention, if you're in Victoria, you're not just feeling your energy, you're feeling the heaviness of everyone. I have a friend who flew up here. She's in quarantine at the moment. And she said the moment she flew over the border, she felt like something had lifted off her. And then she felt lighter when she got here, but then she's in the quarantine hotel. And after a while, she started to feel the heaviness of the quarantine hotel because they're all locked in there.
Yeah.
Whereas, so you actually, energy is actually a thing. It actually is a thing. And I just want to remind people that sometimes the heaviness that you're feeling may not be all yours. And that's why it's so important that you energetically protect yourself every single day. We don't learn this, and this is something that should be learned at school from day one. So because of, I think, everything that's going on, the extra energy of the anxiety and depression just seems to be something that's so in people's faces right now.
100%. And that is such an important thing to highlight, because I think sometimes even I miss that awareness where, is that actually your own? Is that depression and stress and anxiety yours? Or are you holding on to other people's. And when you look back at the end of the day, it's like, was that actually all yours, or was it your boss, your colleague, the person that bumped into you at the shops, something like? There's so much that's going on that we don't actually realize how much we've taken on until we're like, the lid's about to flip.
Yes. So this is where it's important. I think we should just quickly say, how can you energetically protect yourself? So before I get out of bed every single day, I will do a meditation or just a visualization where I visualize like roots coming from my feet and going into the earth. And it's a grounding meditation. And I just pretend, like I picture myself standing on a beach or whatever, and I just picture my feet with roots going down into earth, so I feel kind of grounded in my body. And then once I'm grounded, I picture like a white light going over my body as a protection thing. And just by doing that, it's like one simple thing. It sounds stupid, but if you can get into the habit of doing that, then I'm now ready to go and like be outside. I've grounded myself. I've got a white fake energetic thing around me, so if anyone's going to project something onto me, I can kind of be like slow up.
It's got that force field.
No. It does. It's true. If you can think it, it's energy, like, you know. So, and then at the end of the day, if I've had like a heavy day, I'll have a shower, and I will picture that the shower is also white light, and it's washing off everybody's energy from the day, and it goes down the drain. And if you want to get extra freaky, because that's just who I am, I'll say, you know, I am giving back everybody's energy for the day, and I'm also retrieving back all energy that I've leaked with them. So you're vital again.
I love that. And I think it's really important to have visualization, and to the point, if saying it in your head sometimes isn't enough, actually saying it out loud, like those affirmations that I know me and you are quite big on, like your thoughts are everything. Your thoughts become your feelings, become the events in your life. It all starts with a thought. It all starts from your mind. So actually try visualization if you haven't worked on it before. And if visualization isn't something that you're comfortable with, like start speaking out loud. It might be a bit weird and witchy at the start, because I'm talking to myself. But after a while, you start adopting those positive beliefs, and you start adopting positive affirmations about yourself.
100%. Like you should be like, I live alone. You should be a fly on the wall here, honestly. It's like, I'm like, hello angels, it's me. Like, just a freak. But it works.
Exactly.
It works. It helps. Like, it's, you know, I think it's getting rid of the stigma around doing this weird witchy woohoo stuff. Like, you know, a simple tool of grounding yourself and putting white light around you is going to dramatically start shifting your moods every single day. Why wouldn't you try it? Like, just give it a go. What have you got to lose? How
important are rituals and routine for you? Because a part of me, I'm hearing it's like it is really important, but then you're also in flow a lot. So do you have a strict routine or ritual for both mental and physical health?
I will flow with what I'm feeling at that moment in time. So I am really big. I went through a phase, probably like 2 years of Kundalini yoga, but now all of a sudden I've gone back to meditating, and I'm meditating like just putting on frequencies and just sitting there, and however long I'm there for, I'm going up to like 40 minutes at a time now, which is so weird. So don't even, like, you don't have to do that. But meditation is a really big one for me. And doing the energetic, you know, grounding and the white light before I start the day. And then I also set my intentions for the day. That's something that I do before my feet even touch the ground. So the grounding, the white light, and setting intentions for the day. And then after that, I kind of just get up and go, and I see what I feel like doing. So whether that's going to the gym, going for a walk, putting on music and dancing, twerking, like, you know, meditating, whatever it is. But those 3 things kind of like set me up, and then I'm on my way.
And then even saying those examples, though, there is a level of physicality in that. So you still will do something that actually gets your body moving, because then that releases all that positive good stuff. So yeah, 100%. I think your physical and mental health come hand in hand.
It moves energy. It moves energy. Especially at the moment, Mars has gone retrograde. and Mars is the action planet. So when it goes retrograde, you go more inward. So a lot of people might be feeling like this inner irritability or frustration, and like they just don't know what they want to do. Go and sweat. Like, go and sweat. Like, put music on and just dance. Like, embody the dance moves and just dance like no one's watching and sweat for a little bit. And I guarantee you will shift.
It's a really good point there, saying that energy is movement, and you can move and shift energy as well, because you can physically see that when you're having a dance and you're having a good time, you're releasing that positivity as well, and you feel good after it. Yeah, I love that. We've got a couple minutes left and questions left that I have. So based on your social media platforms, I know that you love quotes and mantras. Do you have a favorite quote or mantra that you live by, or that you can share with us, if there was just the one or two?
Yeah, no, I think the one that has got me through tough times is the only way out is through. Because sometimes you just have to go through it to get out the other side. So that could be for something small, like if I was having a crying session for 20 minutes, like I know that this will move through my body and the only way out is through. Or it could be something like a divorce where you just got to go through it and know that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. So the only way out is through, is a big one that has helped me in the tough times. Ones now, like the affirmation that I'm probably using at the moment is I'm allowing more love in, because I've got my self-love and everything down, but I've probably built like a little barrier around my heart where I'm not really allowing other people to try and love me. Yeah. So I'm going to be open to receiving more, and also just like embodying every part of myself. So I embrace my shadow thoughts, because being spiritual and like this, you don't have to be all rainbows and sunshine all the time. I'm allowed to call someone like out on their bullshit and be angry about it. Like, I'm allowed to be angry. Like, I got so angry the other day because I was watching something on like the Aboriginals and just white people and like what we did. Like, I got so upset and so angry about it. Like, but I embrace that part of me. I embrace all sides of me. So if I think of a bad thought, what is conceived to be a bad thought, I say I embrace my shadow side, because if you can embody and embrace the dark and the light of you, you're whole.
Yes. And like, so true, because who we are, we have both. We have that dark side and we have that light side. It's same as happiness. Happiness and sadness, these are emotions. Things are fleeting. We're not always the one thing. We have to be able to embrace all parts of us, because we aren't one thing as human beings. We have so many identities. We wear so many different hats. We have so many labels that we attach to ourselves. So embracing everything and finding true acceptance, I think, again, comes down to this whole conversation is like, get, more into who you are and just be.
Yes, because this is the thing, what I've learned from embracing both sides, the light and the dark, the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, like every polarity, duality, by doing that, it's opening me up to more awareness to things and more of the spiritual world. It's making my meditations deeper. It's making me see things that I wouldn't normally see, because I'm not just honoring one side of me, I'm honoring all. So I think that's important.
Yeah, and so powerful. I do that in my gratitude sort of things that I journal. So gratitude, and I say this a lot, is you don't just look at the positives of being grateful. If you're actually wanting to adopt the entire gratitude practice, you got to be grateful for the things that were painful and traumatic and cause suffering. You have to be grateful for all your experiences.
Because life happens for you, not to you.
That's it. Another quote there. So what's next for you, Molly? Like, what's happening?
This? No. I can't really say what's happening. However, what can I say? what can I say? So yeah, we're working on something else that is, it's going to be really exciting, and it's going to allow other people to get involved. And I'm trying to.
It sounds like she signed an NDA, guys. So she's not allowed to disclose certain things.
It's fine. But I just don't want to. I just don't want to give it too much away just yet. But this new thing is going to be bigger, and it's going to affect more people, and it's going to dramatically raise the consciousness of the world.
Love it. That sounds super exciting. Whatever mysterious thing that is, I'm sure we should keep an eye out for it. So where can people find you? Where are you most active? What platform? And because I'm sure people are going to be clicking through straight away.
Thank you. I'm on Instagram the most, Molly Jane, just simply Molly Jane. And I kind of just get on and share my thoughts, and but also I'm remind people that you can be spiritual, but you can also be a human and enjoy like an impromptu photo shoot, or you don't have to be all love and light and hippie, and no offense to that, if you want to be that, cool. But I like to embody the humanness of myself on Instagram along with the spiritual side. So if that's your thing, come on over.
100%. And I love your content. I think it's just so valuable, which then leads me to my final question that I ask everyone that jumps on this podcast. The podcast is called The Authentic Me. And I like to think that I only have authentic guests on here. So what does authenticity mean to you?
Oh, I love that question. It means being with conviction.
Yes, absolutely.
Just being who you are, not hurting anyone, but just being and owning it, and not being afraid to just own it, because that's when your tribe comes, and that's when your people come, and that's when the opportunities come, when you have the courage to be all that you are.
Thank you so much. This was absolutely fire. If you love the energy, if you absolutely love the energy between this conversation, make sure that you tag both of us, screenshot the episode, put it on your story so that we know you're listening. And we will see you next week. Thanks so much, Molly. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on The Authentic Me. If you found value in this episode, please smash that like button and share with someone who may also benefit from our content. Never miss an episode by subscribing to this podcast, available on all audio streaming platforms. And make sure to let me know what you want to hear more of on this journey to your truest, highest, authentic self. See you next time. Bye.